Today I'm going to be talking about a bit of a deep and a dark subject, but it's something that is absolutely necessary to know and to be able to really enjoy the best of your travels. So, what I'm going to be about today is coming to terms with your own mortality, coming to terms with your own death. And I think this is one of the areas where most people don't like to go because it's an uncomfortable subject. And I think that's the reason why we have to talk about it. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory. So most of my life, I was traveling around with family, living a pretty standard family life back in Norway. And I absolutely hated it. Because I absolutely hated it, my soul was dying from the inside. And because my soul was dying, it felt like my heart and my soul was being ripped out. And just because of that, it was one of the reasons why I eventually wanted to pursue traveling. I wanted to escape back home, and eventually I did. So my first solo trip abroad was in 2015. I went alone to Japan, and it remains one of the most important journeys I've ever been on so far. And because I took the leap and went for it back then, that also means that now I've continuously built the courage up over time. So why does this story matter? So this story matters because today we're talking about death. And death, since we're all trying to avoid it, it is something that once you are aware of it, because we are one of the only animals that we know of that are aware of our own mortality. And why is this so important? Because it creates a sense of urgency. Because once you know that you don't have infinite amount of time on this planet that we know of, but I'm going to be coming from that frame, then what that puts into you is a deeper sense of urgency. And once you connect to that deeper sense of urgency, it's also going to be a lot easier to find out what your path and purpose is. Because when you realize that all this drama, all this bullshit, everything around you that doesn't really matter, once that fades away and you're dead, there's no more chances, there's no more retries, you're dead, then why did it all matter in the first place? Exactly. And that's the importance of what we're tapping into. So I remember when I first dived into this topic, it was in a meditation program, and I was shit scared. I was really scared to dive into it because it's like thinking about your own mortality. So I remember this moment very specifically. I was in the bathroom back home, and I was probably like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old, something like that. And I remember so specifically just looking into my own eyes in the mirror and realized like, holy shit, I'm gonna die. And that was a very deeply impactful moment. And I think once you're able to come to terms with your own mortality, there are some very important things that happens. First of all, you're setting everything straight. You cut out all the bullshit that doesn't matter. So you start to get a feeling of, okay, well, if I would die like 1 year from now on, or even 10 years, I mean, everything is going to go by at a blink of an eye anyways. And I think that once you connect to that, and once you connect to what is it that I want to do, and all the other bullshit goes away, then you have a much more clearer picture. And why does all of this interlink into travel? Because so basically my main thing is travel and personal development together. And for me, those two are inseparable. I cannot do the one without doing the other. And the very reason why is, yes, you can travel, you can go to resorts, beach clubs, and just stay in your hotel and have a very comfortable experience. But once you put yourself outside of your comfort zone and you put yourself in new situations that challenge your perspective, you put yourself in new situations that broaden your perspective of life, of yourself, of other people, of the world, it just makes the world into such a small and compact place. I used to believe that this world is massive. I'm not going to have enough time to explore it all. And I probably won't, but the main point is I keep meeting the same people over and over again. So I've been traveling full time now, or not full time, but on and off for the last 10 years solo now. And ever since I was like 3 or 4 years old, with family every single year, multiple times a year. So travel is in my blood. It's what I've been doing my entire life. And why is this important? Because for so many years, I was traveling and I did not enjoy it. I wasn't able to let it land. And you know what that is? Whenever you're holding something within yourself, whenever you're holding energy that's being blocked within yourself, that means that if you're not able to let something receive, you have something, an energy blockage. It could be something that you haven't released yet. So why did emotions and energy suddenly come into this? And for me, that was a few years ago, a very foreign or like hippie concept. But right now, after I've been living here in Bali, Indonesia for a few years, it's just been, I've been seeing it around me all the time where people live together with nature. They're very, very in tune with the community around them. They are a very caring community. And what I've seen so far and experienced from teachers and local priests and just pure observation until I actually started actively taking steps to get closer to it, what I noticed is that they are very much in tune with a lot of different energies, and what they are also very in tune with is other life around them. So they have a very open experience when it comes to life and death. So one thing I've noticed in the West is that we try to look away from death as much as possible. We hide it away. It's almost like shameful thing, but it's like one of the most natural and beautiful things. I believe it's just as important as someone's birth. And of course, it's sad. It's a lot of things with it, but what knowing your own mortality is going to unlock is your ability to live. Because I believe that death is one of the most important aspects of life. Because if you would live forever or extremely long, then you would not be able to appreciate it, because that becomes your new baseline. So basically, when you are living at that same level for a very long time, everything is fun, then that just becomes neutral. It just becomes your new baseline, and it's not going to have the same experience. But once you experience the full range of emotions, which is why I think like energy work, emotional work, and having time every single day within yourself to make sure that you feel what's in your body is actually one of the most important things you can do. And I always notice the consequences when I keep holding on to things. So letting go is absolutely crucial. And also letting go of the image that you're going to live forever. When you really get down to the core of what traveling is, I believe it as that you experience it as the creation of life. You're experiencing God's creation. You're experiencing what this planet is, and you're creating such a deep impact within your life. And you're looking at what is this planet, what is this world, and what is my place within it? Because yes, it's a small world, but thinking about all of the life and all of the energy and all of the different things that happen on the planet at once. So yeah. So I want to talk about a experience that I haven't really talked about so much. So in the last few years, I have been dealing with a lot of health issues, and I have had to come to terms with my own mortality. And this was something I refused for a very long time. I refused the idea that I could become so sick and pass away. It was just something my mind didn't even want to go there. Even if I had done like death meditation and meditating on it before, like the thing became so real for a moment, where there was a point where I got so sick that I basically had no other choice. It was either I surrendered to it and I let the natural flow of life happen. I either pass away or I don't. And there was a good full year that I was dealing with facing my own mortality and coming to terms with, okay, I've done enough in my life. I've done enough things to be proud of, to be happy of, even though I have so many more things I want to do. But the thing that this experience did for me, so it opened up this whole new experience where life is now, I trust it much more to being able to live it fully. I trust that just the right things in your life will come into your life at the right moment. But one important thing is you need to be receptive for that thing when it comes into your life. And this is another thing where whenever you're resonating with something. So again, I used to think like everything energy used to be like all hippie and make believe and just not real. But after experiencing it myself multiple times, that when you're letting go of things, you don't need that job, you don't need that girlfriend, you don't need whatever experience, and you let go of the attachment. And I remember this is a very scary, it can be a very experience, and it can be a very scary experience because when you have attachments to things, because attachment is suffering. So when you have a lot of attachment to things and things that you really, really want, and you want to hold on to this so much, but you just can't, and you let it go. You let it out there. And in my experience, pretty much every single time that I truly let go of something, it happens. That's the crazy thing. And I think in some version of reality, I could probably have passed away from the sickness I got. And yeah, but I let go of it. I trusted that my own body would be able to heal by itself, and I gave it all the right nutrients. I tried every single medical treatment. Most of it just like Ayurveda and more herbs and different stuff, because the medical system couldn't help with anything. It was just basically take painkillers and die, pretty much. That was the advice I got from that. So yep. So that was an experience. But after coming to terms with that, I've been sitting in deep, deep meditation. And what I realized is death is not a scary thing. It's not. It's giving so much fullness to life. It's giving so much energy. And from that point on, I made a promise that if I get a second chance at life, I will make sure to give back thousandfold to humanity. I will give back so much. I prayed, and I'm not a religious person at all. I wasn't even before that, but now different thoughts and ideas are starting to come up, so I'm experimenting with it. But just the idea of letting go of something and letting go of your own mortality, coming to terms with it. I accept that I'm going to die, imagining your death, imagining what it's going to be like after your death, and just sitting in meditation and like actually surrender to the idea, actually letting go of it. That is a very, very powerful concept. And I personally believe that I was not able to truly feel alive until I was able to fully let it go. So it's been different. It didn't happen overnight. It actually happened over multiple months and years that I've been like gradually working on it. And it's just, I think just once you live your life, there's going to be so many different challenges that makes you want to buckle and fall. But if you just refuse to give up no matter what, and you learn emotional regulation and you learn how to let go. So whenever you feel anger, sadness, anything in your body, it's absolutely crucial that you sit down and you feel it, because this creates a much more fulfilling life, and it makes it so that you're not staying in apathy. You're actually able to like slowly improve the range of emotions that you feel within your body, and whenever you feel that, you're not going to want to go back to a life of apathy. So on that note, that has been some of my personal story as well, from getting really sick and coming to terms slowly over time with your own mortality. So I personally believe that coming to terms with your own mortality is one of the most important things you can do in your life, because once you realize that your time here is short, you gotta cut out all the bullshit. You gotta cut out all of the things that doesn't really serve you. And on that note, I'm gonna be heading off, and make sure you guys subscribe, as we'll be traveling a lot and talking about deep personal development and spirituality concepts. And make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.